Our second goal is development and advancement, provide tools, resources, programs, and recognition to support younger chemists on diverse career pathways, on diverse professional paths. And our third goal is community empowerment, foster and support diverse communities of younger chemists. Next, we'd like to share on two awards that the ACS Younger Chemists Committee offers. The first is the Priscilla Carney Jones Award. The deadline is May 1st, and the eligibility is for rising junior and or senior undergraduate women in chemistry or also in any chemistry related field. The minimum amount is $1,500. So definitely, for anyone who is eligible, definitely encourage you to apply. And also our second award that's coming up, the deadline is May 15th. It's the CBA YCC Young Chemist Travel Award. And this award is for current ACS members, and also eligibility involve postdocs or anyone within the first 7 years of their professional career. And the amount is $1,000 to support the awardee attending either the ACS national or regional meeting. We'd like to inform you guys of that 2024 is the Younger Chemists Committee is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. And we do have some activities that are being planned at the upcoming Spring National Meeting in New Orleans this coming March. We do have some activities involved on Sunday, March 17th at 2 p.m. The YCC in review through the eyes of past YCC members. And at 3:30 p.m. we'll have a reception, a younger chemist reception, highlighting 50 years of the YCC. On the following Monday, March 18th, we'll have a workshop and panel on the diversity, many flavors of chemistry. And then on the Tuesday, March 19th, we'll have a YCC social at Bryant Park, NOLA. So we encourage you, for anyone who's interested in, for anyone who will be participating at the Spring National Meeting, we definitely encourage you to attend our YCC events to celebrate our 50th anniversary. And you can follow us on hashtag YCC turns 50 as a way of participating in the celebration. We encourage you to connect with us on our various platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also our website. These are the QR codes. We definitely encourage you to follow us so you can stay updating on upcoming events as well as programs, awards, etc. So we certainly, there are platforms that we leverage to provide information pertinent to younger chemists. And right after the Erin speak, we'll have our Q&A session. So we definitely encourage you to ask questions during our talk. And also, we encourage you to ask questions in the chat, and you can ask your questions after our talk. And also, there will be an open Q&A session afterwards. So now I turn it over to Chelsea.
Thanks, Julian. So today, Erin Joy Araneta, who is a graduate student in environmental chemistry at the University of Southern California, a member of the ACS Younger Chemist Committee, as well as the creative mind behind the Adventures of Chemist Clara book series, who is passionately committed to leaving a positive mark on the world. Her focus on leadership, science communication, and cultural awareness not only drives her personal endeavors, but also fuels her volunteer work with nonprofit organizations, all with the aim of catalyzing significant global transformations. So Erin, feel free to start when you're ready.
Well, thank you for your introduction, Chelsea. I just have to share my screen. Okay. Center view. Okay, hi everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, so my name is Erin Joy Araneta. I'm a graduate student of chemistry at the University of Southern California, and I work for Professor Miranda Marinescu. Today, I'll be talking about my research project, the books I write, leadership, and more. Um, so I wanted to start with my story. I grew up in the Philippines in this small city called Makati. I have two sisters. This was us when we were younger. We spent a lot of time around beautiful agriculture and truly just appreciating nature. I'm also very fortunate to have parents that encourage curiosity among the three of us. Growing up, we always asked so much questions, and honestly, until now, I still ask too many questions. Um, I always trying to find solutions to everyday issues that we are facing and reasons to our daily experiences. So, when I was 14, my parents decided to move to California. We moved to Orange County, and my life has been very different since. But I still feel a very deep connection to the Philippines. Yeah, as I said earlier, I'm a graduate student at USC. This is my dog, Wanda. She's a big personality. And I'm excited to share to you guys today how my work connects to my hometown in Makati. But before I was at USC, I went through a lot of schools. I actually went to like 8 colleges. Um, so I started in a community college near my family at Golden West College. I started as a nursing major, and then after a while, I decided to switch my major to chemistry. And then I went to UC Irvine, where I work on carbon dioxide capture, and I'm now here at USC working in carbon dioxide conversion. Um, Something that I love to do outside of chemistry is being outdoors. My commitment to sustainable chemistry is very, I feel really inspired by sustainable chemistry by being outdoors. Um, it's traces back to my childhood and my love for the humanity. So, recognizing the impact of global warming, I chose the path to make a positive difference in the world by pursuing research in environmental chemistry. So, another part of me choosing environmental chemistry is that global warming is a problem that affects the whole world, but most importantly, the 2 billion people living in the poverty line, like third world countries and where I grew up, like the Philippines. These people depend on farming and natural resources to live, have food, and survive. If global warming is not addressed as soon as possible, this will pose bigger issues to the world, especially in communities that depend on natural resources. Um, this is an issue because carbon dioxide is a very special molecule, and it's special because it absorbs light and emits it as heat, as a form, sorry, of infrared energy. This is one of the primary reasons why it keeps getting warmer and warmer every year, why the glaciers are melting, there's forest fires. The data here given on the right is the carbon dioxide concentration in parts per million every year. This data was collected by the Scripps Institute of Oceanography, and it shows that the problem with carbon dioxide concentrations just continues to rise over time. The best solution to global warming is to limit our carbon footprint and recycle, reuse, and buy sustainable products, but the efforts that we are doing at this moment is not enough. Where did my mouse go? So, um, just to open up a little bit more about my research, there is a renewable energy pathway. So when we go to factories, sometimes release carbon dioxide, and this CO2 coming from the air goes through a separation and capture. Um, and then CO2 is used for electrolysis. Electrolysis is the work that I'm doing in my chemistry, and carbon monoxide being produced goes through a synthesis procedure, and a hydrogen source comes in to make some organic materials. And these organic materials is something that we can use for jet fuels or diesel or fibers and plastic. And even if these are using sustainable organic materials that came from carbon dioxide separation, they're still producing CO2. So the cycle then repeats itself. So this is the work that I do in my lab. This is an H cell where I do the electrochemistry to make CO. And this is what my crystals look before I dry them up. So just to repeat, we convert carbon dioxide to transform it to more useful purposes such as energy and fuel. I also saw that the Nobel Prize winners 4 or 5 years ago when I was starting in community college. So I felt like I didn't have a place in science. I really struggled to see myself because of the lack of representation. So before I was doing chemistry, I was in nursing. Um, but when I moved to chemistry, I was very inspired to do something about it. 3M does a state of the survey study index that polls thousands of people around the globe to see their attitude towards science. So what they've gathered is that top roadblocks to a STEM career are self-doubt, bias, and representation. Almost 40% said it was the inability to afford a STEM education. A little bit over 30 was access to STEM science, STEM classes. And then around 25% was experience bias, and 22% that they think they're not smart enough, and about 20% believes that they don't know anyone in STEM that looks like them. Another part of the significant gap is the gender, where 53% believes that this gap exists in the STEM workforce, and racial and ethnic believes that this gap, 44% is in the STEM workforce, and 39% believe that the LGBTQ plus community believes that that gap exists in the STEM workforce. So there's just a few things that I found that has helped me and the people around me. Friendships and very strong relationship is very important in whatever you do, but especially in graduate school, these people are doing the same climb as you. They're like your accountability partners, and they help you go up when you start to get disheartened over your experiments. This is my church, and these are my friends in graduate school and my friends in undergrad. They've helped me get through times that are very challenging, and we were celebrating our successes together. There are also people who have mentored me on how to connect with other students and how to help them be the best they can be. Here on the left, my undergraduate PI and my community college professors, and my undergraduate mentor Alyssa. But I'll go talk a little bit about her. She was just not a mentor, but she was a burst of energy in the lab. She was infusing excitement into intricate organometallic chemistry. Her teaching style was very dynamic, and she made the subject so accessible to a group of people. And I found myself falling head over heels over chemistry. So this new passion transformed my life and perspective. So beyond the role in the lab, Alyssa was a very big advocate of women and people of color in science. Her commitment to promoting diversity in the field was it held like a very lesson on me. She was not just a mentor, but she was a source of positive change in the scientific community. So during one of our conversations, Alyssa told me that I was going to be a big deal. And if I'm being honest, I think she was talking to everyone in the room. But when I heard that, I was like, okay, so I think I'm going to be a big deal someday. So that really ignited my sense of purpose in me. allowing me to dream bigger and aspire to achieve more than I could have ever imagined. So this inspiration really inspired me to do more things beyond just being a student and a researcher. So with a goal of reaching a greater audience, I wrote a chemistry children's book featuring a Filipino lead. Her name is Clara. She's a creative chemist who perform chemistry reactions in the forest, in Mars, strawberry fields, and underwater. This book teaches the children that it's okay to ask for help. It promotes creativity, critical thinking, facing your fears, dreaming big, learning, and so much more. This was like a small project I started when I was 19, and then I'm so excited to just see where it goes from now. I have 5 books out and 2 more coming up in the next 2 or 3 years. But those are very exciting. It's exciting that I can like mix my love of the outdoors and chemistry in the book and show how fun it is to like explore childhood feelings and emotions. Oops. Go back. So I continue to inspire my fellow Gen Z with my position as the Younger Chemist Committee Chair of the Orange County American Chemical Society before, and I work really hard to allow children with young, curious minds to see that pursuing a STEM degree is not only possible, but also that they are capable of doing this. This photo here is a photo of when I went to an all-girls school and did some chemistry outreach. This was actually the school that I went to my whole life before college. And then this one is a STEM science night where we invited a nonprofit where they help kids from at-risk communities. And we did chemistry experiments. We got like all my chemistry influencer friends together and we did chemistry experiments with them. And it was really fun. And this is the farmers market. We go there and explode things up and do some hands-on experiments with the kids. Yep. So together we can change the statistic of people getting discouraged in pursuing STEM degrees. In fact, in 2020, based on the 3M survey, after the pandemic, 75% more people believe that we need more people in STEM to ensure a better future. This was also about the time that I started my nonprofit, The Theory of Joy. We hope to make education accessible to a bigger population. I was about 20 and I wanted to do something for the world. So in here, we integrated STEM education to their school. We work on making education more accessible in small indigenous communities in the Philippines, where we have built a school since before they only had like bamboo sticks and banana leaves, but now they have a school that's a little bit more sturdy. We also received the grants for the people in this community to have clean, sustainable water wells and meals, because young girls are usually tasked to walk miles to gather water, which takes up their time and sometimes prevents them from studying for school and sometimes even going to school at all. We've also expanded this from little kids to more grown up and taught them carpentry or like cooking classes to give them skills to be able to sell to the community. So their community has showed me how much global warming is impacting the world. These communities that depend on agriculture to survive are suffering the most from it. They use agriculture as a form of livelihood, and if global warming continues to persist, the plants will dry and more heat strokes could occur. And I wanted to share like one of my favorite parts of graduate school, teaching. It's really fun to show undergraduate students how cool chemistry is and how like it's not really as scary as people talk about. It's exciting to understand how to cater to a diverse population and show how exciting chemistry is. Yeah. So, generally speaking, a day in my life is always very diverse, but I think the small bits of my life is what makes my life whole. Um, a big part of my life as a graduate student is doing research, but it's hard to do research if your cup is not full by other things. So I usually go to the gym like at least 4 times a week. Here at the bottom is a part of the book that's coming up. It's my dog in the book. I read the book to kids in fourth grade, and everyone was telling me to add their dogs too. So maybe we'll just have a book someday all about dogs. Um, and then this one on top are my friends. We volunteer, and yeah, sometimes we are our hangouts are like volunteering in farmers markets. It's super fun. Farmers markets in California is very, very fun. Very a lot of like fun craft and stuff. And these are my graduate school friends. They truly give so much meaning in graduate school and make it more exciting. And my family. It's a very important part of my life. Um, I think filling up your own cup inspires me to help more people. It allows me to face life with a positive outlook. It allows me to dream more. And yeah. So, I just wanted to share some of the most important lessons that I've learned, and I'm so grateful for the time that you have shared with me today. So these are just some things that I wanted to leave. Um, net. mm, Why can't I press a button? Come on. There you go. Mentorship is one of the most critical parts of my life that led to where I am today. I don't know where I'll be without my network. Um, this is Alyssa again over here. She has a little dog named Apple Pie. Um, and on the top is the ACS board and like some of my friends from Instagram where we did like chemistry experiments with the kids. They're always here for me for like personal questions and even navigating the hardest parts of chemistry and they're like super supportive of my ideas. But a good place to start for networking and mentorship is ACS. They have career consultants where you can ask questions for your career or graduate school or what you're interested in pursuing and talk about your strengths. And another thing that I found very helpful is the graduate student mentorship initiative by Scientifico Latino. They have a lot of resources to help you get into graduate school if that was something you're interested in. There you go. The next thing I was gonna say is to surround yourself with people who inspire you. Here are some of my friends. Um, we like to climb, but we just don't climb mountains together. They're also super cool. Nat here, she's an engineer working on sustainability for the ocean. She's actually the mentor of um the character in my book named Clara. And then these are my friends in graduate school, our two dogs, Wanda and Pac. Um, and my friends in undergrad, Lucy helped develop the COVID rapid test and also is working on ways to better regulate for people in diabetes. And they're just so encouraging and inspiring. And I hope you find yourself a group that inspires and uplifts you too. And keep yourself open to relationships. Next thing I'm gonna say is kids. Reach out to all of them, the crazy one, the sick one, the curious one, and kids from disadvantaged backgrounds. Chemistry is so cool. It's fun and amazing, and it's important. It's a really important field, but there's just so much negative stigma and stereotype that comes with being a scientist. Chemistry is an amazing career and we do need more scientists. So anytime a child tells you they're interested in science, lift them up and scream to the heavens how great and amazing their dream is. Because if you inspire a child to do whatever he or she loves, that means that you have opened their eyes and now they will think that if you can do it, they can do it as well, just like how I did. So work hard in what you're doing, dream big, and make an impact in this world and lift other people as you climb. Together we can change the statistics that I've shown earlier, and we can start by telling the world how cool science is. Um, this slide I put in because I think it's very important to discover your purpose. What motivates you to rise in the morning? What brings a sense of fulfillment in your life? I really believe that the only job that you have to do in life is to know what you want. Just sit and be honest with your heart and what's truly important to you. Um, this allows us to lead lives that is true to you, and all you have to do know is what you want. The why and how it will naturally unfold, and it will come. Lastly, diving into STEM takes a lot of guts. The journey to our dreams isn't always smooth, but there is always hope ahead. Don't let the tough stuff or the harsh realities out there bring you down. We're the voices for those struggling quietly and the heroes for those who are feeling lost. We're the future and hope of our community. I genuinely believe in your dreams, and no matter how tough, tired, or stressed you feel, keep fighting the good fight and do it with love, compassion, and honesty. Your effort matter, your dreams matter, and I'm confident that every step you take gets us closer to a better future. Thank you. And I'm open to any questions.
Thanks so much, Erin. We did have a more science related question in the chat, so we'll start with that one. Are there any synthesized polymers that have been created to capture carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases that you're aware of?
Yes, I think so. That is not my specialty, but when I was looking at papers, yes, I've seen polymers do it too.
Cool. Are there other questions from the crowd? Okay, so one that came to mind for me while you were talking, you said you switched from nursing. Can you tell us a little bit more about like when you realized you wanted to switch and like what I guess was like the identification for you or like the moment that you were like, all right, I was like,
Yeah, I skipped a lot of years in school. I skipped 3 years. So I started college when I was just actually 16. So I think I think I didn't have the opportunity to really think through the major I wanted to, and I just thought I knew what I wanted to do at that moment. But I was always interested in chemistry. I was doing chemistry Olympiad when I was like really young until I left school. Um, but yeah, I didn't see myself in other people. And when I was in nursing school and I was very interested in chemistry, I told myself I'll give it a shot. So I was working in the research lab for a year and a half, and when I was in the hospital, um, I was working with a veteran at the Veterans Hospital, and he was really suffering the side effects of medication. So when I was there and my research was separating the side effects of medications, I thought that I could make a bigger impact in chemistry. And um, my sisters are here watching. They're all nurses. And I think there's just some lovely nurses already. And I think there's lovely chemists, but I think that's how I wanted to pursue the rest of my career. Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. All right, so we have a few more questions in the chat. One question that I know will definitely speak to a lot of us or any of us that have been in graduate student is how have you dealt with imposter syndrome as a graduate student?
Yes, of course. How do I deal with imposter syndrome? I think acknowledging that it's there and really accepting that sometimes I could feel like an imposter. I think like what I try to do is I give myself like a time limit. So like I'm like, okay, for 5 minutes, I'm gonna allow myself to feel like an imposter. And then after that, I'll talk to my friends or like the people in my life, my sisters and my relationships. And I think friends would never tell you that you're an imposter. And honestly, like I think part of like really accept like the time that I spend feeling or thinking that I'm an imposter is like thinking like like for scientists, like thinking critically, like what are the proofs that I'm an imposter? And you know, by that time, like I've already like warmed up and I would ask questions to myself, like, why do I feel this? How did this come up? Where did it come up? And I think just I call it data collection. When I get the data of my thoughts, I usually feel better, or yeah, like my my friends would usually like repeat to me the things that I've done, and yeah, I think that's how I deal with imposter syndrome.
Cool. All right, we're getting lots of questions in the chat, so I'm just going to go in order. But how did you know that you wanted to go to grad school? So we talked about like the switch to chemistry, but like how did you want to figure out you want to go to grad school and that it was the right choice?
I was in the research lab in Cal, like while I was in nursing school, and then I was in a research lab when I was in undergrad, and I really enjoyed that experience. I also felt like graduate school would allow me to have a bigger platform to help more people. So I think that's how I think I got into I got interested, or I knew I wanted to go to graduate school.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a very big proponent of grad school in general. All right. When you go to outreach programs, what do you think is important to convey to the students, and how do you convey your knowledge of chemistry to kids? So this can be in outreach, but also, I guess, through books too.
So the question is what do I prepare?
I think it's more like what do you think is important to convey to the students? So like chemistry can be like daunting, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of ins and outs, and like how, I guess, like do you make that relatable in the outreach events?
I think in outreach events, like yes, I do prepare in advance and I think about what I'm going to talk about and I share what I'm going to talk about. But I think the most important part in outreach events, I think it's a good opportunity to have like a relationship with the kids. I think being able to have a relationship with the person you're talking to and like showing that you're a relatable person, and showing them that chemistry is like not the super science. It's just normal human beings doing chemistry. And then the other side, my books, I think I also really think about relationship for my books, the relationship of the characters. But I do a lot of research about, you know, the fun facts of the ocean or what would be interesting for the kids. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Back to a more technical question. Does your CO2 conversion electrolysis process have the potential to be scaled up?
Does it have a potential to be scaled up? Yes, that's actually one of the goals in our research lab. We use, I didn't go too much into depth into it, but we do use metals that are similar to what happens in the plants because plants capture CO2 and converts it to oxygen, which is something we need. So yes, we are using things that are not too expensive. So there's definitely a potential to be scaled up. Yeah.
Cool. Someone, Taylor, would like to know if you can expand on your work-life balance. It seems like you have incredible passion for outreach and outdoor activities. And how do you like manage to do all of that plus graduate school all in a day's work and meet any deadlines you might have?
I think there's just seasons for like the outreach and the outdoor activities. I think with the organizations that I work with, the outreach happens when like there's a slowdown on research or the outdoor activities. I think it's a way to exercise, and I think it's something that's really important. You know, I think the other part is I have to be honest that I don't like watch TV. I find a lot of passion and joy in what I do in like writing books. Like I think it's a creative outlet for me. You know, I think there's some parts I can sacrifice, but the important parts like is something that really fulfills me and it's important to help me to keep going. So yeah, I guess yeah, it's just prioritizing things. Yeah.
Yeah. And finding, I think an important thing that you mentioned is finding the like something that is a hobby to you, but also you can do outreach through, I think helps tackle some of that stuff, which is really cool.
I really enjoy like writing stories and like planning how the illustrations look like. So it's a good outlet. I think I don't really, yeah.
Deb asked how diverse is the chemistry graduate student population. So I guess maybe just speak on your experiences. You seem to have a really relatable friend group in school, which is awesome.
Aw. I think USC does a really good job in diversity. I think you naturally like gravitate towards people who are similar to you. But yes, I'm very fortunate to have a relatable friend group. But I think chemistry in general as a whole still has some work to do. And I think we can just do what we can to get to like a more diverse future.
I agree. How many failed experiments have encouraged you to move forward?
That's such a good question. I don't know, a lot. I think I don't really think about it as failed experiments. My friends would not agree with this, but like I I just think of them as like more data and more information, and I just have more to learn from my data and information to do the next step and next experiment. So yeah, I've had many failed experiments, years worth, life's worth, I don't know. Um, but there's a lot.
My mentor used to always say that no, what do you say? No answer is still an answer or something like that, right? You're finding out
Yeah.
kind of thing. So someone is a biochemistry undergraduate and they're finding it really hard to find their way to graduate school. They're currently a junior and doesn't know where to start. What did you do to go from an undergrad to a grad student? Like what were kind of the paths you took?
Okay, so my friend and I did like Saturday dates, where we made it fun, I guess. We went to like a different coffee shop every Saturday and we just did research on like which professors we want to work on, what chemistry we wanted to do. So, I think the first step, like I think just like what I've talked about earlier, is knowing the what you want to do. So you know that you wanted to be in graduate school. So I think just doing research, which professor you're interested in, what schools do you want to go to, which environment can you be in? Like I didn't realize I can't be in the cold. Like I think California's cold and yeah. Um I don't know where to start. And like, you also don't have to do it alone. Like you can seek mentorship in your school, in your laboratory. The Scientifico Latino has been very helpful for me when I was navigating that. Um, and what am I trying to say? Oh, the career consultants in ACS, they're also very helpful in putting together a CV, a personal statement. Um, what did you do to go from undergraduate to graduate student? So yeah, I think that's what I did. Yeah.
Cool. What made you want to pursue environmental chemistry versus other chemistry fields?
I really like the outdoors and I feel sad that, like glaciers are melting and like global warming. Um, so I just felt very connected to nature, and I grew up in the Philippines where nature's just very beautiful, and seeing how things change is something that I feel very inspired to work towards. Yeah, and the other side of it is providing more opportunities for like feedstock chemicals. So that's something that's really exciting and yeah.
Cool. Do you see yourself moving into industry or staying in academia after graduate school?
I don't I'm actually really open to things. I'm really interested in science communication. So not sure if that's industry, but I'm really interested in opening a business to help like high school students get into college and make sure they're following their values and their dreams and their goals. But I'm also interested in being a professor. So we'll see how all those play out.
One day at a time,
Yeah,
right?
community college professor. Yeah.
Um, this says, do you anticipate to be a Nobel laureate just like Professor Wendy, who perfected quantum dots at MIT last year?
I don't think the path to being a Nobel laureate is something that's for me, but I think there's other ways to like do positive things in the world beyond being a Nobel laureate. So yeah, I think part of being a Nobel laureate is focusing a lot on chemistry, and outreach is very important to me in science communication. Maybe if there's a Nobel laureate for science communication, I don't know.
That would be great. Brian wanted to mention that you showed some atmospheric CO2 data from the Mauna Loa, is that right? Observatory. Some good news to share. They have just won a DOE funding for net zero emissions solar and battery installation. So they wanted to,
That's
they
really
shared that in the
cool.
news, in the chat. Let me see. Whether can I feel like a lot of these questions are kind of centered around the same topics, but I think one that we haven't really touched on is, can you talk about how ACS specifically has provided value to you as a young chemist and what it could potentially do better to serve you as a graduate student in your experience?
Oh, that's a good question. How it provided value. I mean, I feel like so much of who I am and what I've done is like from ACS, like from the local section to the national section. I I joined the local section when I was just 16, but I think it was the first time where I was just like talking about random ideas and actually having all these ideas into fruition. Like they were smaller back then, like it wasn't writing a book or opening a nonprofit, but I think like just the supportive environment that allowed me to do things I'm very excited about. That's something that the local section has given me. And I think the national section, sorry, the national ACS allowed me to just be able to reach a greater audience and impact more people with awards and deciding how, diverse group of people and like talented people can get the awards and opportunities for growth for them. And then what can they do? Yeah, I guess that's how ACS has impacted me. It allowed me to manage programs and manage events and put them to fruition. What they can do better for graduate students. Um, it's a good question. I think something that they can do better is I would say like I think they're doing really well on like technical things, like chemistry related things. I think something they can do better is like probably like coaching graduate students from getting like getting like the career that they want in the future. Like, do they want to have like an industry job or like a like academic job like early on? I feel like a lot of graduate students early like in their career like doesn't know what they want to do, and I think having guidance to getting to where they wanted to go to is something that may be helpful for graduate students early on so they know how to like pursue the opportunities that given to them in graduate school. Yeah.
Cool. All right, we have two more questions in the chat. How do you see science communications importance in today's like digital age?
I think in today's digital age where like anybody can just make information and like some people just see it and believe it's a fact. Um, I think, yeah, I think it's very important to give like, data driven information online. So yeah, I think it's just getting more and more important as time progresses. Yeah.
You mentioned you did research with friends on schools and projects you wanted to work in. So what was a major highlight that made you settle at into like USC for your final choice for grad school?
Um, for me, well, they have like a really good environmental chemistry research. There's a lot of professors who work with carbon dioxide capture and conversion. So I guess the field was very nice, but the other aspect being close to family. My parents are like 40 minutes away. So that's also really nice. My partner is also close by, so that's also something that I was thinking about. Did research with your friends on schools and project you wanted to work in. Yeah, I think being closer and like having my community here already and just growing it, I think at some capacity comfort is also something that's important to me. It's not important for everyone, but it's something that made graduate school the transition a little bit easier.
Yeah, I agree. I grew up in Ohio, stayed in Ohio for grad school, and then decided to
Oh,
move away. So you just got to kind of find the right fit at the right time. So
yeah.
Julian went ahead and put a poll in the chat if the participants could go ahead and fill that out before you guys head out. And it's now 6:50, so there's a little bit of time left for questions. But if you have other questions, feel free to send them on to Erin.
Cool. Sorry, I guess I did not give my socials. I am putting my website on the chat, but I'm What's Erin Doing on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm on LinkedIn just with my name. If you ever have any other questions or if there's any way I can support and help you, please reach out. My books are in my website too, if you're interested in giving it to someone. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, great job, Erin. I will definitely.
Thank you. Yeah, if you have any questions, you could ask me online.
Yeah, I do have a quick question, Erin. I guess if you didn't,
Yes.
I guess if you didn't pursue a chemistry career, what would you have done otherwise? I guess if you didn't want to pursue the
Ooh.
chemistry route.
I think I do really well in marketing. Yeah, like I really enjoy like the diverse amount of careers possible with it. Like I think I'll have fun in like project management and like conversing like I don't know, chemistry in a different way. But I don't know. I have no regrets with chemistry. I think it's really cool. It's fun. There's so many things you can do with it. Yeah. What would you do, Julian?
For me, I think I would have done um either mathematics. I mean, I was
Hmm.
trying to major in math, but then I took a course on mathematical reasoning. And I mean, I didn't like it as much. I ended up not pursuing mathematics. I mean, it's a course on basically like proving certain theorem or so, like the Pythagorean theorem, like basically you have to prove that the equation is correct.
Uh-huh.
And also if you
Yeah,
can, and then there's proof on proving that one is an odd number or two is an even number. So it's very different from like
that's
algebra.
cool.
Yeah. So
Uh-huh. That's pretty cool. Right. I think there was a question. What did I do as an undergrad that made me an outstanding candidate for USC? I think something I did that I'm really proud of is like writing like a cohesive story for my personal statement, connecting them all together. Um, and I think everyone has the ability to do that. Um, I think that's what makes outstanding candidates for any school. Yeah,
I believe you also received the NSF graduate fellowship. So do you
I
have any
did.
advice and that you can share with anyone that's an undergrad that's or even grad student that's considering or thinking about applying for the NSF fellowship?
Yeah, I think I'm I feel bad for repeating the same answer, but yeah, a writing a very cohesive like personal statement and connecting it to why you want to do it. I think NSF funds the person more than the research. Like really being clear on what you want your degree for and how it can impact the world in the future. Um, yeah, or like what you want to do with your extra time since you're given funding. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Zach
you guys
asked
for
what
coming.
your favorite research collaboration has been.
Favorite research collaboration. I haven't done a lot of collaborations like in graduate school. I'm a second year, so I haven't really done a lot of collaborations, but I've done a lot of collaborations with my work, like in outreach and my books. I think my favorite one is like writing books with my sisters. They're my favorite. We're like best friends for life. We're all 2 years apart from each other. So both my sisters are nurses. So one of them we wrote books about diabetes, and then the other one we wrote like books about chemistry, strawberry genes. So not like gene strawberry
Yeah,
really cases.
not the pain.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, my editor told me like, how about Clara just wears pants with strawberries on them? And I'm like, that's cute, but yeah. I think that's my favorite collaboration.
Do you do your own illustrations?
No, I wish. Yeah, I think yeah, part of doing like the things that I do is accepting that I'm not thing. Yeah, I draw like stick figures and I write explanation, and then I have an illustrator that I've been working with for like 4 years. He's amazing. Yeah, no, I don't do it. I'm just gonna pull up. Yeah, I don't. Ooh,
Is
well,
there any scientist that you would aspire to meet someday?
scientist that I aspire to meet someday. Okay, this is kind of weird, but like I'm not being a stalker or anything, but she posted on Instagram. Um, Emily Calandrelli. She lives like I'm. She lives like around in Orange County, and that's like where my parents live, and I'm always there. And like I just hope to see her in the beach someday, or like like anywhere. I think she's really cool. But yeah, she does book signings, and maybe I'll see her someday. Yeah.
Alrighty, well, I think we're good. I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Julian, do you have anything else?
I think that's
Are you on LinkedIn? Sorry about that.
You're good.
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. Everything is on my website, erinjoyaraneta.com, but I sent my LinkedIn on the chat.
Thank you.
all right. Thank you everyone for
course.
joining us. Yeah, we hope you enjoy the webinar tonight, or if it's in the morning in your time zone. And also, if you're interested in learning more about the ACS Younger Chemist Committee, please visit our website at acsycc.org. And we definitely encourage you to check out our awards. We do have some upcoming scholarship and travel awards that, if you're interested, we definitely encourage you to apply. And we also encourage you to, if you attend any ACS national or regional meetings, we encourage you to participate in our some of our YCC programs. So we thank you, and have a good evening or good morning or good afternoon. Thank you, and also thank you, Chelsea, for being our co-host, and also to Erin for being our guest speaker for tonight.
Of course, thanks for having me. Thank you for coming, everyone.